So just sharing from a Reiki Master. So I wanted to talk about energy clearing and working with the energy of the land wherever you are. So today when I was working with my clients, the theme that came up was the importance of doing your own energy cleaning. So what do I mean by that? Have you ever considered that when you go somewhere, say you leave home and you go to a different suburb or a different part of town, and you get there and you feel like things are a bit off, something's not quite right. Have you considered that when that happens, there might be energetic work for you to do there? Now, when I say the word energetic work, it's like an eye roll and I can't be bothered, I'm always doing work and all of that. But what if that is the work that you're here to do? To recognize that there is a difference between the energy of your home and the energy in the different places that you go and visit. To start distinguishing between what feels comfortable for you and what doesn't feel comfortable, and then perhaps even going a little bit deeper and seeing, is there something here that I can do to help myself feel a little bit more comfortable? And what do I mean by that? So what if you could connect to the ancestors of the land and you could ask for permission to be there, and that if there was any work for you to do that would work in partnership with the ancestors of the land, what might that look like? And perhaps you're actually being called to go there to actually do a little bit of land clearing. So I've done a couple of trips around Australia and I've ventured into lots of little towns across the whole of the country. And the one thing that I've noticed predominantly is just how influential that energy can actually be for you and your body, without you having any conscious awareness that it actually isn't you. It's the energy that you've just driven into that's having an influence on your body, and you are operating with your subconscious programmings, assuming or just taking on responsibility because you aren't conscious when you arrive. And so the program kicks in, and then perhaps you get grumpy or you don't know why. Sometimes that's because the energy in the space is actually influencing you, or the town you've just driven into is influencing you, and it's requiring you to just take pause, take breath, come into the present moment, ground to the earth, connect to the ancestors of the land, connect with the spirit of the land when you're there, and just breathe. Ask for permission to be there. Ask if there's anything that you can do energetically that might actually assist you and then therefore the land in that space. Working from that angle, you can find out a lot about yourself and the place that you're in, because we're a mirror. So if we're going somewhere, our energy is going to rebound off whatever is in the experience, and we're going to have feelings rise up in us. Now, if this is where logic sort of leaves the room, because logically you should feel fine because you felt fine in one town, and now you've just gotten the car and driven to the next town and you don't feel fine. So logically it should be the same, but it's not. Now, I put to you guys to test this stuff out. When you are in a different city or a different town, do you feel the same as when you're in a different place like your home? All right, it's a good ground zero is to know what it feels like when you're in your own home versus when you go out. And some of us get super uncomfortable when we go out because we can keep the energy in our homes at a certain level and in a certain way, but we can't control what's happening out there in life. But we can show up and do what is there for us so that we can continue to keep ourselves comfortable. So it's like doing your own energetic cleaning, if you like. And if you do yours and I do mine, and all of us are responsible for doing our own energetic cleaning, we might be able to get somewhere here. So I had a couple of clients ask me this week, what do I do, right? I've got clients that are in overseas, and they've text going, they're feeling a bit weird. So how do we connect with the land, and how do we connect with the ancestors of the land, and what do we do to bring ourselves into sort of a comfortable space? So it's an interesting thing. And with the teachings in Reiki, and particularly in Seishem, we talk about this frequency thing that happens, that we are all walking around in our own little universes, in our own frequencies, and sometimes our frequencies bump up against each other. And then when we go to even a different country, it can feel like you maybe jet lag, or you're feeling a bit off. What if it's a deeper thing than jet lag? What if it's just an acclimation that has to happen, an acclimatization? You've got to get there, and you need to come into the present moment. You need to connect to the land. You need to talk to the ancestors. You need to check if there's something there for you to be paying attention to. You know, in my Reiki 2 class, I talk about the how of that. So we do pay attention to feelings and emotions, allow them to guide us. You know, look at whether there's portals or vortexes that are creating holes in your energy field, or wormholes or tunnels where energy can come in. And if you can just address feelings and emotions within the body, it closes down those portals, and then you can reclaim your own energy or your sovereignty. When you can reclaim your own energy and sovereignty, you're back in charge. And that's what we need to do when we're going to different places, is reclaim our sovereignty, put our energy bubbles up, connect to the land, and ask if there's something there for you to do. Sometimes that might look like crossing entities over, all right? Yes, we work with ghosts, all right? And yes, they get stuck in the in-between. And yes, they need a person in a vehicle, so the body, to set an intention to cross them over. It seems to be a thing. And I've been working in this for a long time now, and a lot of people have learned this, the how of that, in my level 2 classes, and they've come to understand through testing and measuring themselves that they can bring a lot of comfort to their own bodies by doing this cleaning. So if there is non-physical energy around, in the form of ghosts, in the form of entity attachments, could be demonic energy, could be reptilian energy, could be multidimensional energy, anything that is life alienating, we tend to send back to its origin, or its point. It either goes to their point of origin or their dimension of origin. And it is an interesting thing as we are coming across this stuff and working with it in a way that is to dissipate fear, not to increase fear, like coming from a sense of everything has its place in this reality, and that it's all a teaching tool, it's all a learning tool. So if you're learning to step into your own sovereignty, and you're learning to create boundaries that keep you safe and comfortable, connecting to the land can be an add-on to this, to being able to, when you do your own cleaning and you do connect to the land and you do check if there's any energy work that needs doing there, and you can then find your point zero, or find that neutral space by working on whatever triggers are inside you, trying to learn on the job about perhaps, you know, crossing some ghosts over, or if there's something there for you to. If there's not, wonderful. Maybe it's just that there's a message from the land about how you need to proceed while you're there. I know when we were traveling across the top of Australia, and we went to a lot of sacred sites, and we went through a lot of different towns that have a lot of different energy, it was very important to acclimatize, get in my own energy, connect to the land, connect to the ancestors, and then ask them if there's anything that they need from me. And in the different places, mostly what they were really grateful for was the fact that I connected with them and asked. And then, because I've built an intuition and I've built that connection, they were then able to give me some information about the place that I was in, and how to approach it, and where to walk, and how to make sure that my energy was in balance. So have a play with that and see. Working with connecting to the ancestors is simply just grounding, connecting and protecting. So getting into your energetic bubble and being fully present in the now moment and setting an intention. I am now connecting to the ancestors of the land and I ask for permission to be here. And then we're going to connect to the spirit of the land and ask if there are any entities attached to the spirit of the land that need to be crossed over. And if that is the case, then use your technique. If you've learned Reiki, we use symbols to open a doorway to either the light, their dimension of origin, their point of origin, whatever we're working with, we're sending them to their origin, back home, yeah, with love. It's completing the transition and it's doing it from a heartfelt space. Some are sticky and require a little bit of finessing with wording, and in future videos I'll talk about, you know, some of the wording that might be useful to deal with some of those sticky entities that just are persistent. But all of it is there as a learning tool. Everything is happening for our own ascension and our personal growth. It's to get to know what has been influencing humans in the mental space, and a big part of that growth is remembering to connect to the land, remembering you're part of the earth, remembering that the ancestors are here to help us and the custodians of the land need help, right? There's a lot of energy work that's needing to be done, and if anyone out there is feeling the call to do land clearing and wants to know more about it, just get in touch. All right, and hopefully this video has been helpful. It's just a short 12-minute video, bit of a rant from the Reiki Master, but let me know if you've enjoyed it. Okay, thanks. Have a great day.